So in this week's episode, I've read the comments, I've checked them out, and I'm going to try to slowly just get through all these comments and try to film as much as I can. But this week we have a few different things on. We've got the tender, the chase boat being loaded onto a ship to be taken across to the Mediterranean. So I've given the deck boys a camera and they're going to show you how that goes down. We also have a little sourdough competition between me and the cruise chef Max. What else we got? We got some fueling in Antigua, taking on all the fuel to cross the Atlantic to do this charter. And you'd be surprised how much we can actually take on this boat. Enough to cross the Atlantic twice. Then we are starting to prep for this 10-day charter. So I'm going to run you through that, show you some bits and pieces, and see you on the other side. We've just come across this little farm here called Colson. It's up in the mountains of Antigua and they do all this beautiful organic produce here. So we've just actually given them a little order and then we're going to head to the supermarket to finish the rest of the stuff. But this is super nice stuff here. Go check it out. You go first. No. we just got some pastries from this lady's house. We got a cheese pastry and a chicken one. A little scared, but they look good. So we have a good amount of time between charters, so we're actually just doing a lot of prep. At the moment, I'm just doing like cookie doughs and stuff, so we've got 10 types of flavors of cookies. Max is here preparing some desserts and apple pies, cherry pies, and just all this stuff that we can freeze and like get ahead before the charter starts in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. All these things are going to help you because when the time comes, the charter starts, it's going to be a little crazy. So yeah, that's the idea. Get stuff done, get some prep done while there's some downtime, and so it's not too stressful when the charter comes around. All right, so I'm going to give you a long-awaited galley tour of Project X. I'm going to take you around through this galley, through the scullery. I'm going to show you the dry goods, the cool room, freezer, and I'm just going to give you a little run through of what we have here. So we're just going to start over here. Up in these cupboards, we have a whole lot of spices, we have herbs, we have all that kind of stuff up here. Under here, we have quite a lot of like dry goods. We've got canned stuff, so we keep that all here ready to go, so we're not running out of the galley too much. So that's all kept under here. And then we have our first freezer, which is this guy. We're kind of just preparing for charter at the moment, so it's a little bit all over the place, but we have the ice creams, sorbets. That's basically this is what this freezer's for, is just to store that. And then moving over here, we have, it's quite a weird setup, but this is where the crew kind of come in and out through the galley here, which is quite nice as well because you get to see everybody every day. And then we have our first fridges here. We've got a double door fridge, which is just for the prep that's kind of done on a daily basis, and we just keep what we need up here because this is the only double door fridge here. And then moving over here, we have our two combi ovens. We've got MKNs at the moment, but we are replacing these when we get to Gibraltar in about 4 weeks with some beautiful rationales. I think they're actually, how do I explain this? So you can fit the trays in sideways here. So they're massive, they're huge ovens, which I'm excited about. So then over here we have a pretty powerful Electrolux fryer, which heats up super quick. So that's good. We hopefully are getting a second one in a couple of months. And then we have a 4-burner stovetop here. Almost forgot what it was. And then we've got two hot plates here, which we use for like stocks and stuff like that. They're just like, you know, just for simmering along. And then we have a plancha here, which is amazing. This thing heats up super quick. So we do all our steaks and we do all our, you know, sealing and stuff like that. Breakfast in the morning, we use this a lot for pancakes and things. This guy, we try not to touch because it's actually quite painful to clean. So we don't use this too much. We're hoping to hopefully eventually replace this for something else. Okay, then over here we have the other fridges. So Max used to use these for crew food, but we actually have a lot of guest requests for like 24-hour room service menus. So the plan is to set these up on charter for all the prep ready to go for, I guess this next charter we have about 25, 30 dishes that we're going to have 24 hours a day. So that's going to be prepped there. So all 3 chefs can just grab stuff from there and do that for the menu. And then moving over here, just shuffling along the floor. There's not much here. It's a sink actually. This blast chiller, haven't had one of these on a boat before, but this is great for just chilling stuff super quick, desserts and stuff. So I love this thing. And then we have we've got a normal freezer here. As you can see, it's got some cookie doughs and stuff around here, stored in here. So this is just good we keep all our like breakfast pastries and just bits and pieces that don't fit in the other ice cream freezer. So that's the main galley where all 3 chefs kind of work. And then this is super interesting. I kind of love this boat for it. But the scullery is actually through here. So where we do all the dishes, it's massive. So it's quite nice to just, when you've got dirty dishes and stuff, you can just kind of stack them over here. Nice big area. Also 2 Hobart dishwashers. These guys are amazing, super quick. I think like a 45-second minute cycle. So that's amazing that we've got 2 of these. We can just rotate through them all, get the dishes done super quick. We've got all the extra equipment. So we've got the dehydrator, the slicer, we've got blenders, robo coops, Paco jets, which is makes ice creams and stuff, or whatever you want really. And then we have a big old vac pack machine, which we use for all of our extra prep and stuff like that. It just seals everything into bags, which is quite nice. And then this is kind of the overspill of the dessert. So we've got like the nuts and seeds and stuff here. Nuts and seeds actually in here. And then we've got all the, all the dried fruits and things just behind me here in this cupboard. But this is a great area just to keep things that you don't want in the galley that's in your way. It's nice places. It's where all the dirty dishes go, the clean dishes go. So it's nice to keep the galley uncluttered and just have this area to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take you to all our excess of dry storage that we kind of have as backup. We don't have to go to as much, but it's stuff that we have on trip, so we don't have to go to the supermarket as often. Although it's actually not that big for this size vessel, it actually has worked really well because it's on the same level as the rest of the galley. So you're not running 2-3 levels down to dry stores, which usually are on boats like this. So we find it's enough. We actually haven't filled it even too much. So we have that, and then we've got a couple of extra little hidey holes inside this door here, which it's back up, and then also in this cupboard here, which is back up. So I'm going to take you downstairs to the cool room and freezer and show you that. Got the crew mess this way, and then we've got the cool room and freezer this way. So, not sure if you can see, but it's actually quite a big cool room. It's yeah, I mean, double the size of what I'm used to. So, we filled it last time pretty much to the brim, and that was for a week charter. But I think we could have gone a little bit more. So the next trip is 10 days. So this is going to look full in about a week or so. So yeah, it's empty at the moment. We've just got Max here prepping for the crew. So it's like very basic stuff. Not a lot here to work with for Max, but it's kind of is what it is. We're in Antigua. So, then the freezer is actually a lot smaller compared to the cool room, but it also works. We haven't managed to... They changed the lights here. It looks great. So at the moment we have, we've actually just done a crew meat stock up here, so we don't have to go and do that during the trip or after the trip. It's kind of there for the crew and for Max to use. And then we have very minimal base stock for guest stuff. So we're getting that order in about a week from Shoreside Support. And we're going to fill this up for a 10-day charter. So this is going to look super stocked up. But yeah, once again, I think it's a pretty good size for this size boat. So not complaining. Okay, that concludes the quick Project X Galley Tour. I didn't want to bore you too much with every single cupboard, but I am going to introduce the chefs next, which is Max and Stu. Stu's actually on holiday, so I'll do his when he gets back in a few days. But we're going to do Max in a second, introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend that all the crew love. So give me that camera.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm the crew chef on board Project X. I live in England, in Kent. My role is to cook for 28 crew. Currently got about 22 on at the moment, but yeah. And also while guests are on, helping with that. Basically, it's a lot to do. Lunch and dinner on charter, breakfast, lunch and dinner off charter, making sure that they are fed and fueled up for all their jobs, which includes like 2 proteins every day, 2 salads, always a carb, and then I also make sure that I do everything that they love. I kind of get all their preferences of what they like and what they want and kind of go off that so everyone's happy and make sure everyone's fueled up for the day. Also, a great thing about being the cruise chef is my range of skills and things that I can do. I can choose for whatever cuisine I want to cook, which is amazing. So I range from Thai, Italian, English, anything you can name it, and I try and just make a varied diet for all the crew. I love making Thai food and making really Asian flavors and getting all that, but then also just kind of liking going back to the English basics, shepherd's pie, bangers and mash. Everyone loves that, so yeah, it's good.
So behind me we have the chase tender Vandutch, and they're preparing to take it to get lifted out of the water onto a ship and send it over to the Mediterranean. How long does it take, Tinas, to get over?
For the shipment?
Yeah.
It'll be a roughly 10-day passage.
10-day passage. Oh, that's good.
Over to the Med, and we'll pick it up from there.
Sweet. So I'm going to hand over to Tinas and Aiden, and they're going to film a bit of stuff for us, and yeah, see what happens.
We're in St. John's in sunny Antigua. We're just getting our 40-foot Vandutch ready to get shipped across to the Med. So we'll go up in the forward hatch and the forward part of the vessel. It'll take them roughly 2.5 weeks where we'll get her back for our busy mid-summer season. We'll take you through the steps of how to get on board, strap it down, and we've got all the protection down that we need. So we're going to come alongside the vessel now, where they will drop down the crane. We'll have a forward and aft sling underneath our hull. They'll pick us up. Once we're at deck level, we'll step out and they'll take her up and over and into the cargo hold. We'll still sit and get strapped on. Just putting the slings in place now. Got a sling on the aft, sling on the forward. Once they take tension, we're going to go up the ladder, get off the boat, and then lift it up.
Okay, our Vandutch has just been loaded on board the ship safely. The guys are still securing down there, and the four of us are just doing the final touch-ups, putting on some more protection and make sure she goes safe across the Atlantic.
Okay, so Chase X is now strapped down and secured. So doing the last lashings now. She'll be on here for 2.5 weeks, and then she'll do a small shipyard period in Italy and come over to us in Monaco, where we'll have a fantastic season.
Okay, so this morning we've just taken our new chase tender off tow. This is our new tender for this upcoming charter. The reason we have this is because our Vandutch is already being shipped across the Atlantic so that we can get there in time for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Hi, I'm Stuart. I'm the sous chef on board Project X. Been here for about 3 years now. Originally from Derbyshire in the UK. Trained as a sports science student with nutrition, and then later went on to become a water sports coach. So a bit of a change in industry. Working on the beaches, teaching sailing and so on, and then disappeared up into the mountains for the ski season, where I got my first taste of being a chalet chef. And from there just fell in love with the industry and went through catering college, graduated top of my class, and then moved into yachting. A few tent gigs and solo chef positions, kind of feeling my way through the industry of what I wanted to do. And luckily enough, Project X became available, and as they say, the rest is history. I've been working on here, absolutely love working on Project X. The crew are fantastic. The clientele that we have on board are always really interesting, allow us to do some fantastic things in the galley. And the galley itself, it's amazing. A lot of space, throw things around, and really have some creative ideas going on as well.
All right, so we are about 3 days away from picking up charter, and we've got the boys in here. We've got Max just topping up everything in the galley, and we've got Stu behind here. He's just picked up crew food for a little bit, giving Max a break. And I'm just kind of going through this 24-hour menu that we've prepared for these particular charter guests. It's just to alleviate any random requests throughout the day, and just have this prepped in our little fridges over here and the ones behind us. So it's kind of like ready to go, and we give the guests the food as quick as possible. So I'm going through this list now, making sure we have all of the provisions coming in, and I'm just going to do a little prep list here for the boys, and we're just going to kind of get through that and just make sure it's all prepped for the upcoming charter. So one of the most common questions that were asked on the last episode was, what's the dynamics in the galley and what's everyone's kind of roles? Because we've got 3 chefs now. You know, previous boats I had maximum of 2 chefs, And Max's job is primarily crew food, and Stu's job is to basically assist me. But it doesn't stop there, it doesn't start anywhere. You know, as a galley team, I think we kind of do a little bit of everything. And my job is actually a lot of sitting in front of the laptop, which I feel bad for, but it's a lot of organizing lists, writing menus, talking to the other HODs, and just, I think a lot of it is just trying to plan out and organize all of that stuff so that the galley runs nice and smooth during charters, and you know, all the provisioning and stuff like that as well. So that's kind of the basis of it, but yeah, we kind of do a little bit of everything. There's Kian causing trouble again. So that's kind of like a rough overview. During charters and off charters, you know, I mix it up. Right now at the moment, Stu's doing some crew food and Max is getting a little break from crew food. But yeah, we all do a little bit of everything. All the boys have skills to be able to do anything in this galley, so which is amazing, and I think that's really important. I think it's just everyone should be versatile within the galley. We don't have 11 stews and 11 deckhands or whatever they have, so we need to be very versatile. I think that's super important to remember. So to answer that question, having that extra person or 3 chefs, the guest experience basically is tenfold more than what any other boat is, because we're able to do so much more. Like the last trip, we did like a sushi bar setup. We did obviously the standard beach barbecues. We can just go above and beyond of what any other boat can usually do. So this is the 24-hour menu, and to pull something like this off is just taking a lot of prep, organization. So I've just done lists of the different fridges and freezers that we have. So what I'm doing is basically putting these wherever the fridges and freezers are, and just so that all 3 chefs can kind of know exactly what's in there, what's prepped, and then so when you're getting woken up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning or whatever, you can just look at this, you know where it is. So we have these two freezers here, which is going to hold all the freezer stock, and then we have this little fridge down here, which is going to hold all the breakfast prep. And then over here, we have our dessert fridge, which has all the ice cream, sorbets, all that kind of stuff. And then this fridge will be turned into the, I guess, starters and main course fridge here. And that's kind of the basis of it. And hopefully it's organized enough where all 3 chefs know where everything is, and we can get the food out nice and quick to the guests. We've also done up a bit of a schedule here for the chefs. Usually we'll kind of be on most of the time together on a usual charter, but we're just preparing for the 24-hour kind of service. So unfortunately, Stu's drawn the short end of the stick here, and he's got the, I guess, midnight to 5 a.m. shift. And then he'll do like a bit of a day shift there, sleep until midday, sleep until 3 p.m. And then he'll be back up to help us with the breakfast and lunches and stuff like that. So that's just to make sure that, the guests are going to get what they want super quick. I wouldn't usually do this, but I think in these circumstances, it's going to work really well. Everyone's going to get their 10, 12 hours of rest at nighttime, get a good sleep, and just be fresh for the orders coming in. We also plan to do the normal breakfast, lunch, and dinners as well on top of this. So we're putting out the normal breakfast spreads, breakfast specials. The lunches are going to be between 5 to kind of 8 dishes as well, and also the dinner. Luckily, it's been requested kind of family style, which is amazing. So we can just do up the big platters of stuff and send them out. But yeah, it's going to be a big undertaking. Fingers crossed. we are currently refueling the boat, and I've got the second engineer here, Kian, who's going to tell you all about it, all the logistics, how many liters we take, and what we can do with our fuel.
Hi, my name is Kian. I am second engineer here on board Project X. I joined this yacht coming up almost 3 years ago. I joined the boat just before the end of the build of the boat. It's coming up also almost 3 years old. Currently, right now, we are taking bunker, so we are fueling the boat. We are taking approximately 185,000 liters of fuel. Our maximum capacity is 300,000 feet. So it's quite a lot of bunker we're taking. We're currently looking at 7 hours more to go, so it's going to be a long day. On the crossing, we are actually fueling up right now to do a crossing. First, we have a charter coming up, so we're bunkering for the charter. And then after, we are crossing the Atlantic Ocean back to the Mediterranean. So we're bunkering right now so that we can do both actually. So a crossing usually takes around 120,000 liters. So maximum capacity is 300,000, like I said, so we can actually we have enough capacity to do almost 2 crossings or more than 2 crossings. So we are basically home safe. So right now we're standing here at the starboard side of the boat at the fuel bunker station. We have a bunker station on both sides of the boat, the yacht. From here, I monitor everything, checks that there's no leaks or anything. Chief Engineer Jacob is downstairs. He requires a minimum of 2 of us to bunker, and he's adjusting all the valves downstairs to distribute the fuel to our 6 storage tanks we have on board. And that's the bunkering process, Project X.
All right, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Unfortunately, we actually didn't get the sourdough competition in this week. I promise I'll put it in next week. Got Max here in the back here waiting for it. I don't know why, but hope you enjoyed. And I think next week's episode could possibly be us on a charter. It's quite an interesting charter. We're doing 24-hour service. We got a crazy menu. So I'm going to capture as much as I can, but it will be definitely sleepless nights, sleepless days, and yeah, see how we go. But see you next week. Hope you enjoyed. Out.